God is everywhere. We know this, but we don't see God everywhere. We're seeing things separate from God. We were talking about this last night in the class, thinking that we are the object and everything, including God, is the subject from which we're perceiving. But actually, God is the object, and we are all the subjects of God, and everything is a subject of God, and God is the ultimate seer. So if we understand this, that looks dangerous. Is that?
No, go off.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, you guys just, I'll watch it now. So, anyhow, God is the ultimate seer, and we are all seen by God. And we have very little capacity to see, but we have some capacity to see. So now Shukadeva Goswami, in our journey into the meditative realm, the realm from which we're trying to perceive God, he is teaching us how to utilize that which we can see and what we can perceive. So right now he's talking about all of the popular, in the Vedic time when this was spoken, everyone had a culture of worshipping the demigods. Still, in your culture, the Indian culture, there's still a culture of worshipping and honoring the demigods. It's very prominent. And it's actually a very good culture. It's Krishna's culture. Krishna and all his associates, even in the highest realms of Goloka Vrindavan, they worship the demigods. Even though the demigods have no jurisdiction over that realm, because, it's such a nice cultural aspect, to offer honor and reverence for the sources of life, and the demigods, that's their duty, to help be agents of giving life to others in the world. So it's proper. So Krishna's teaching us how to see when hearing about the different demigods, even studying the mountains, the trees, the sky, the sun, the moon, all of these natural phenomena that we experience, how to see it in connection with the Lord. So that's what we're studying right now. Tanu, I don't know how much you missed, because it's been tough. But we see, some different elements of connecting to the Lord's body and how to see them. You just go back and read a few verses back. You can see how the last verse we read was, modesty is the upper portion of his lips, hankering, or, greed, is his chin. Religion is the breast of the Lord, and irreligion is his back, which means if you practice Dharma, you'll see the Lord. And if you practice adharma or irreligion, you will not see the Lord. He'll turn his back to you. Brahmaji, who generates all living beings in the material world, is his genitals, and the Mitra Varunas are his two testicles, and the ocean is his waist, and the hills and mountains are the stacks of his bones. So it's teaching us how to, see in this world things we can see, how to relate it to the Lord. And remember, this is like a giant cosmic form of the Lord. This isn't the most dear and wonderful form of the Lord. For you to have a relationship with the Lord, it's very difficult to have a relationship with the Lord with the cosmic, expansive, universal form. Which is why in Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna saw that form, he was not joyous to see that form. He was very fearful of seeing that form. But in the beginning, to have some reverential fear for God is actually healthy. So that's why we have two aspects of bhakti. We have the Vaidhi bhakti, following all the rules or we're going to be punished. And it's out of fear we're worshipping God. Most people have to start there. And then there's the Raganuga, where out of spontaneous attraction to a relationship with the Lord, we develop a desire to serve like that. So if we were to somehow or other hear about or see a personality like our acharyas or advanced teachers who have the sweet moods of Vrindavan, and they have this exchange with the Lord in a very sweet manner, which transcends the rules and regulations, which isn't fearful of the Lord at all or fearful of being punished by the Lord, which is why we all worship the Lord. Why do we worship the Lord? We're afraid that if we don't worship the Lord, what will happen to us? Yeah, we'll have misfortune will come in our life, or we'll upset God, and then our life will be upset, and we definitely don't want to upset our own life, So that's why most people are worshiping God, because they are really thinking about, themselves. But that's still healthy. It's good. It's better than not worshiping the Lord. But there's a realm above that where you're not thinking about your own self-interest anymore, and you're simply thinking, well, I only want what is most pleasing to God, actually. What does He like? And you're, even like the gopis, you're willing to even practice a dharma, even though it's not a dharma because it's for service of the Lord. But the gopis are willing to practice what's considered a dharma by the rest of society in order to please the Lord. So that's on another level. But we should understand. But this is all about, right now where we are in the Bhagavatam, all about understanding the greatness of God and all of His many expansions throughout the universe that He's empowering and actually are part of His cosmic form. So this is being described. We'll continue, but before we do, we will chant some mantras. Maybe one of you guys can see? One of you want to scroll? I don't know if you can share the screen on the Zoom so they can see it very well. If not, I can do it. Offer my heart and my obeisances, my deep respect unto Sri Guru. Without the mercy of my teachers in this life, especially those who are helping me, currently I really have nothing to offer, and it's only by their mercy I can be in connection with the next group I'd like to offer my heart and my love and respect to. It's our entire Gaudiya Guru Varga, our whole lineage of saints who are connecting us to God. And finally, I want to offer my obeisances unto all of my spiritual brothers and sisters here. Vanchakalpa, Tirubhishta, Kripasindhi, Patitana, Pavani, Vaishnavi, Namo Namaha, and any online, and actually into all the living entities who will all eventually become Vaishnavas in the future as well. Because that is what our nature is. We're meant to be servants of God. We have just lost that realization or understanding as of right now. But if we learn our divine origin and our divine purpose, then that can easily be revived. So Okay, we read a few things about the, different demigods and different things being part of the Lord's body. We tried to make some connections to even our own, like the cerebral passage, our own cerebral passage, how healthy the Vedic hymns, which are the Lord's cerebral passage, to put that in our cerebral passage, and so on. But anyway, now we are here on text 33. Ready? Nadyosya nadyo tatanu ruhani Mahi ruha vishwatanor nirpendra Ananta virya shvashitang matarishva Gatir vaya karma guna pravaha Nadya, the rivers, Asya, of him, Nadya, veins, Atha, and therefore, thereafter. Tanu Ruhani, hairs on the body. Mahiruha, the plants and trees. Vishwatano, of the universal form. Nirpa Indra, O king. Anantavirya, of the omnipotent. Shwashitam, breathing. Matarishwa, air. Gati, movement. Vaya, passing ages. Karma, activity. Guna pravaha, reactions of the modes of nature. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O king, the rivers are the veins of the gigantic body, the trees are the hairs of his body, and the omnipotent air is his breath. The passing ages are his movements, and his activities are the reactions of the three modes of material nature. Prabhupada says, purport, the personality of Godhead is not a dead stone, nor is he inactive, as is poorly thought by some schools. He moves with the progress of time, and therefore, Lai knows all about the past and future. Maybe it's meant to be, therefore he knows all about the past and future. We are reading the original ones, which had some grammatical errors. So that's almost certainly. He knows all about the past and future, along with his present activities. There is nothing unknown to him. The conditioned souls are driven by the reactions of the modes of material nature. Excuse me? Which are the activities of the Lord. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7.12, the modes of nature act under his direction only, and as such no natural functions are blind or automatic. The power behind the activities is the supervision of the Lord, and thus the Lord is never inactive, as is wrongly conceived. The Vedas say that the Supreme Lord has nothing to do personally, as is always the case with superiors, but everything is done by his direction. As it is said, not a blade of grass moves without his sanction. In the Brahma Samhita 5.48, it is said that all the universes It is said that all the universes and the heads of them, the Brahmas, exist only for the duration of his breathing period. The same is confirmed here. The air on which the universes and the planets within the universes exist is nothing but a bit of the breath of the unchallengeable Virat Purusha, or the universal form. So even by studying the rivers, trees, air, and passing ages, one can conceive of the personality of Godhead without being misled by the formless conception of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita 12.5, it is stated that those who are much inclined to the formless conception of the Supreme Truth are more troubled than those who can intelligently conceive of the personal form. So a couple things here. It's very wise to try to, because if many people recognize the majesty of the creation, the majesty of the universe. But if we don't understand that it's all part of a there's a personality behind reality. If we don't really get that into our understanding, it's very difficult to make any type of meaningful connection with divinity. So, by good fortune, the Lord has personality, and actually all of what's going to be revealed in the Bhagavatam, that all of the most sweet interactions that the Lord has to offer, which are going to be found in Vrindavan in the 10th canto, are so personal. But in order to do that, we have to go from where we're at, where we have really no personal relationship with God. It's very small, or meager, or not existent at all. Just to be, we don't really seem to care much about God. Our consciousness is very much turned towards what this universe has to offer. Wealth and, sense gratification and the things that we want and desire in this world. But what we really are not wanting and desiring is God. Is if we really did, then we wouldn't be here. So this is the place where we can chase things that aren't directly related to God, even though everything is actually but an expanse of God. So anyhow, but this is showing us how all of these things are connected to God. The rivers of the veins of his gigantic body, trees, which are very large, are like the hairs of the Lord. Our hairs are very small and fine, but the great trees, are like his hairs. And the omnipotent air, or all-powerful air is his breath. We cannot go without air for even a few moments. We can make it some days without water. We can make it some weeks or months without food. But we can't even make it a few moments without air. It's a very, powerful energy that we're relying on, the prana. But this is his own breath. This is but the Lord's breath. The passing ages are his movements. We see so much has changed. Even, I don't know if you guys have do this every time to time, but I visit my hometown time to time, like where I grew up. And I just see as I go back there more and more and less than I used to, I see like, wow, this has changed, and this has changed, and this has changed. And everything is changing, actually. I used to know everybody on my road and street. I don't know anybody where my parents live anymore. I'm like a stranger in this place where I grew up my whole life. I walk down the street, I don't recognize any of the neighbors or anyone anymore. So like this. But these are his movements. The Lord has his movements where he makes the time pass and everything pass and change. And his activities are the reactions of the three modes of material nature. So in this world, the modes of nature and the acting upon them and the reactions, that these are all his activities, actually. Everything the Lord is doing. Even last night, maybe Parth overheard, me and Madhav found ourselves in an awkward situation. And we'll not talk about it. But we found ourselves in an awkward situation. But at the end of we were like, well, you know what? The Lord has actually arranged this. I would never want to find myself in such a situation. But the Lord has arranged it, and now we have to both navigate the awkward situation because this is what the Lord desires, actually. So we should understand these things. Even you guys are now, a new change and movement is happening in your guys' life, where I think this may be the second to last Bhagavatam class that you guys will be able to join, if your health permits, and maybe the last if your health does not permit. So at least yours, Dipanshu. Tanu we're gifted a few more weeks with Tanu by Krishna's good fortune to us. So like this, everything is actually but the activities of God and is connected to God. And if we can learn how to see like this, it's very, very valuable. Nothing is happening blind or automatically. Nature is everything is happening under the sanction of God. Not a blade of grass moves. So if you can see it, so when some awkward scenario comes up, like maybe you got cursed to die in 7 days, like Maharaj Parikshit, or that all your relatives want to fight with you, like Arjuna, and you find yourself in a really awkward situation, you actually could come to the realization, like, the Lord wants this situation. And then you take guidance, well, what do I do? From your spiritual master or your most senior source of guidance in your life. What do I do? So there's many If you're not in an awkward situation yet, just wait. It'll surely come. You'll surely enter an awkward situation, or multiple or many of them, over and over again, and then you'll know what to do. Oh, the Lord has arranged this. What does He want from me? And so then you can connect. So let's see. Now we're gonna. We get a break. No purports for some time. So we'll just we'll read as we'll continue. Ishasya keshan viduram bhuvahan vasastu sandhyang kuruvarya bhumnaha avyaktamahur hridayang manascha sachandrama sarva vikara koshaha Ishasya of the Supreme Controller. Keshan, hairs on the head. Vidu, you may know it from me. Ambu Vahan, the clouds which carry water. Vasatu, the dress. Sandhyam, termination of day and night. Kuruvarya, O best of the Kurus. Bhumnaha, of the Almighty. Avyaktam, the prime cause of material creation. Ahu, it is said. Hridayam, intelligence. Manacha, and the mind. Saha, he. Chandrama, the moon. Sarva vikara koshaha, the reservoir of all changes. O best among the Kurus, the clouds which carry water are the hairs on his head. The terminations of days and nights are his dress. And the supreme cause of material creation is his intelligence. His mind is the moon, the reservoir of all changes. So it's very nice. So the clouds are his hair. Day and night, just like we change our dress constantly. This is the Lord's dress. He's dressed in light clothing right now during the day, and dark clothing in the night. And the reason everything is the way it is due to his intelligence. He very intelligently caused material creation to be how it is. And his mind is the moon, the reservoir of all changes. So the moon is constantly changing its appearance and form, waxing and waning and representing itself different way. And this actually in astrology, the moon is the graha that controls the mind. So in Vedic astrology, in Western astrology, everyone focuses on your sun sign. Oh, what's your sign? What's your sign? And they don't know that the sign they should really be looking at is the moon sign, which Vedic astrology knows. So, your moon sign, why is that relevant? Because that's your mind. And the mind is the number one thing that is controlling the living entity. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, those who control the mind is the best friend. But to those who don't control the mind, which is all of us, the mind is our worst enemy. So, but his mind, the moon, which is controlling all of our minds, this is his mind. This is Krishna's mind. So he has this arrangement that the moon, why? Because the moon controls the waters as well, and your body and mind is filled with water. So the moon has a strong pull on all of the waters. You know this with the tides. The moon controls the tides. Even our modern scientists, they know this. Right? And if it can control the whole oceans, which are very powerful, imagine what it can do to our little mind. So that's why during full moons people go a little crazy. That's why usually the menstruation usually happens, if it's healthy, I think on the full moon. It happens on the full moon. And or the new moon, I'm forgetting which one is healthy. My wife it's been some years since she's entered the cycle. But I think it's the new moon is actually the healthy one, and the full moon is if it's out of balance. But it usually goes with the cycles of the moon. Why? Because that's also, these bodily cycles, they're connected and controlled by the moon. But all of this is the Lord, actually, the Lord's perfect system. And if we get in alignment, I forget which one it is. I think it's the new moon is the most ideal one. If you can get in alignment with because the full moon is full of turbulent energy, and it's not ideal to enter menstruation on that time. But because we're all so disconnected from the Lord's perfect systems, we often find ourselves out of balance, and then, things go, like the most murders and the most crazy things happen during the full moon. This is like even scientific fact. They know that full moons, and they attribute it because there's more light to do crime, so that's why everyone know, but there's something happening to everyone's minds during that time. There's so much energy. That's actually why we fast on Ekadashi. Maybe you know or you didn't know. Because the lunar cycles, especially when the new and full, it's so powerful, the energy, that you want to cleanse yourself before you enter that energy. So Ekadashi, the food that you eat, it takes 3 days for it to be manifested as energy. So on Ekadashi, 3 days before the new moon and the full moon, if you cleanse yourself by eating either only simple foods or fasting completely, you'll prepare your body to handle this energy of the Lord through the moon that's coming, through the full and new moon. And if you handle it nicely, you can utilize that energy in a very sattvic or even transcendental way. And if you don't handle it nicely, you'll have all kinds of craziness in the life will come. So these are some of the things. But the moon is very powerful, and it's actually the mind of the Lord. He's actually it controls our minds, but it's also his mind, actually. Yes.
So in previous texts it was mentioned that sun and moon are the eyes of the Lord.
Yes.
Now moon is also the brain of the Lord. So
I don't know if what did it say, the sun and moon were both eyes, or did he just say? Let's see exactly. And the eyeball is the sun, is the power of seeing. In Bhagavad Gita it says like that, but I don't know if it said here. Because you also have to understand, this is not actually the Lord's, and this isn't, and as Prabhupada said, this isn't going to make common sense, but these are all connected to the Lord's personality, but these things also, it's not going to make common sense. It's like not common sense to the people that the moon is actually controlling your mind, It's not common sense to people. How can people have that realization? But in the astrological text, this is a fact, actually. So I'm making that connection for you guys. But if you just read this on your own, you're like, the mind is the moon. That's an interesting thing. You wouldn't necessarily realize that. So anyway, this isn't going to line up with our common. Oh yes, there's one eye, there's another eye. Oh look, his hair is over here. It's connected. No, these are it's going to work in a different way. So, when you actually see Bhagavan, form of the Lord, then it'll all make sense. That's a different thing. Everything will appear very human-like and like this. But not this form of the Lord. This form of the Lord is frightening and not really easy to fully look at. So, it causes fear, actually. So anyway, we'll keep going. Vijnana Shakting Mahima Mananti Sarvatmanunta Karanangiritram Ashvashvatar Yushtragajanakani Sarve Mriga Pashavashroni Deshe Vijnana Shakti, consciousness. Mahim, the principle of matter. Amananti, they call it so. Sarva Atmanaha, of the omnipresent. Antakaranam, ego. Giritram, Rudra, Shiva. Ashwa, horse. Ashwatari, mule. Ushtra, camel. Gajaha, elephant. Nakani, nails. Sarve, all other. Mriga, stags. Pashava, quadrupeds. Shroni Deshe, on the region of the belt. The principle of matter, or the Mahat Tattva, is the consciousness of the omnipresent Lord. As asserted by the experts, and Rudradev is his ego. The horse, mule, camel, and elephant are his nails, and wild animals and all quadrupeds are situated in the belt zone of the Lord. So these are interesting, descriptions. Prabhupada doesn't even comment on them. If you Rudra or Shiva he comes out of the third eye of Brahma in his anger at the four Kumaras. That's how he enters this world. This place is the seat of the ego. So Rudradev and Shiva is the most powerful of the demigods in this material world. And actually ego is the most powerful of all of the material elements. So Rudradev is his ego. And also Rudradev's control over us is this third eye, which Shiva is always projected with the third eye. This is the seat of the ego. Even when we chant, why. What finger do we leave out? Index finger. But you see the great yogis and things, they usually chant with connecting the index finger and the thumb. You've probably seen that before. Yes? Like this. This is called Jnana Mudra. But this is also the place of the ego. So we want to take the ego out of the chanting actually. But, or the false ego. But Rudradev, he doesn't have a false ego, but he is the controller of the false ego of all of us in this world actually. Which is why Lord Shiva, he has no problem. That's why, don't take too much offense, but materialistic people worship Lord Shiva. This is the case actually. Why? Because he gives he gives everything. He's Ashutosh, he's easily pleased. And like Krishna, he won't give you everything. He'll only give you that which is favorable for you. But Lord Shiva, he has no problem. He'll just give you anything, even if it destroys you actually. Which is very dangerous actually. That's why all the great demons, Ravana and many others, they worship Shiva, because it's just like a bypass system. Okay, we can please him, he'll give us anything we want. But Lord Shiva says, okay, if you really want. This will destroy you though, no problem. But so like this. So this principle this is the ego of the Lord in this material world at least. So anyway, the elephants and the horse, the mule, these animals are his nails. I wonder why that's the what I don't know. I can't really give any explanation as to why that is. And the wild animals and all quadrupeds are situated in the belt zone of the Lord. Also hard to figure out. I have some ideas, but a little inappropriate, so better not say. So, anyhow, let's keep reading. Vayangsi tadvyakaranang vichitrang manur manisha manujo nivasaha Gandharva vidyadara charanapsara Swara smritir asurani kaviryaha Vayangsi, varieties of birds. Tat vyakaranam, vocables. Vichitram, artistic. Manu, the father of mankind. Manisha, thoughts. Manuja, mankind, the sons of Manu. Nivasaha, residence. Gandharva, the human beings named Gandharvas. Vidyadhara, the Vidyadharas. Charana, the Charanas. Apsara, the angels. Swara, musical rhythm. Smriti, remembrance. Asura Anika, the demoniac soldiers. Viryaha, prowess. So, varieties of birds are indications of his masterful artistic sense. If you see the birds, peacocks, some of the most beautiful parrots. Manu, the father of mankind, is the emblem of his standard intelligence, and humanity is his residence. Manu, the Manu Samhita, gives all the basic principles on how to be a person, like how to do proper personal dealings in this world. So this is the emblem of his standard intelligence. And humanity is his residence. The Lord is actually a person. So, the celestial species of human beings, like the Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, and Charanas, and angels, all represent his musical rhythm. They're all, especially the Gandharvas, they're all very musical and wonderful, and expert in all the arts, actually. And the demoniac soldiers are representations of his wonderful prowess. Those who are demonic, they focus on their own prowess so much, and the Lord gives sanction for them to acquire prowess and strength and all these things. But he usually has them destroy each other through that prowess. But their example, great and fearful, usually demonic, because usually really it's very rare a warrior like Arjuna and the Pandavas come into being. They're actually the sons of demigods to be such warriors. But usually to become like a great, powerful personality, you have to, usually the more demonic are attracted to that. So they're often representations of his prowess. Even like someone like Alexander the Great, who conquered the whole world, in so many ways. You have to be kind of demonic to want to do that. Even though he ended up meeting many yogis in India, and he was very impressed by them, actually, because they were not fearful of him. And in the Vedic culture, he was quite astounded by the teachings of Vedic culture. But anyhow, these great and powerful personalities. Now we can look at Putin on one side, and maybe Trump, and these, clearly demonic personalities ruling and running agendas and things like that. But their prowess are representations of the Lord's prowess. So, Prabhupada says, the aesthetic sense of the Lord is manifested in the artistic, colorful creation of varieties of birds, like the peacock, parrot, and cuckoo. The celestial species of human beings, like the Gandharvas and Vidyadharas, can sing wonderfully and can entice even the minds of the heavenly demigods. Their musical rhythm represents the musical sense of the Lord. How then can he be impersonal? His musical taste, artistic sense, and standard intelligence, which is never fallible, are different signs of his supreme personality. Yes, so how can the Lord have taste in music, artistry, and even intelligence on how to run mankind through the Mani Samhita if he himself is not personal? These things wouldn't manifest without personal touch to the Lord. So, which is never fallible, are different signs of his supreme personality. The Mani Samhita is the standard law book for humanity, and every human being is advised to follow this great book of social knowledge. Human society is the residential quarters for the Lord. This means that the human being is meant for God realization and association with God. That's very nice. It's only the human being that approaches God, actually. That's the value of the human life. Every other species, they're just completely impulsive and acting off of sense gratification. Even the people of this world who, they don't have a taste for seva, they don't have a taste for, trying to understand and serve God. They have a taste for pleasing their senses only. Then they're destined to be animals, because animal life is the perfect life for trying to please one's senses. If you like eating flesh, why be a human being? Better you be a tiger. If you like having sex, why be a human being? Just be a bird. You can have sex hundreds of times every day. If you like to sleep, why be a human being? You could be a bear. You can sleep for 6 months a year, and so on. And if you like to eat gluttonously, why be a human being? You can be a pig. You can, all these things can be done. There's a species of animals, to maximize sense gratification. So the Lord, he fulfills for those who. But the Manu Samhita teaches one how to be a human being, and the human being is meant for actually understanding God. And so it's said that God, his residential quarters is humanity. So that's very nice. This verse, Labdva sudurlabam idam bahusambhavante manusyamartadam anitya apihadiraha tornam yateta napateta numrityavan nishrayasaya vishaya kalasarvatasya. It was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati who's chanting this verse of Krishna in Uddhav Gita, and this was like the verse that like really inspired Srila Prabhupada and Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj to, become renounced. Because they were family men and they had a lot going on. But after they heard Bhaktisiddhanta preach on this, what it means is Labdva Sudurlabam idam bahusambhavante. It means after obtaining that which is Sudurlabam, very rarely obtained. So this human body, it's talking about the human body. Bahusambhavante, after many births. After many, sambhavas or births in samsara, manusham, you get this human body, arthadam, which is actually of the greatest wealth. Anitya, but it's temporary. It's a temporary arrangement. Apihadiraha. So, therefore, in this world, diraha, the wise, tornam, should immediately act. Turnam should means immediately. Yateta, endeavor. Make some endeavor. Napated, as long as you have not fallen. Anumrityu yavan, because we're always subject to death. We can die at any. So as long as you have not fallen down, the dira, the wise person, they immediately endeavor. What? For Nishrayasaya. Nishrayasaya is the ultimate perfection, or trying to understand God. Vishaya kalusarvatasya, what I just explained. Vishaya, or sense gratification, indeed, kalu sarvatasya, can arise in all species, in all sarva species. So you can have sense gratification anywhere you want. So there's no good arrangement for sense gratification in human life. We think, I'll make this type of food, and I'll make this type of thing, and this type of thing. If this is how we want to live our life, this sense gratification, I'll get this type of partner, we'll have this type of sex life, and we can watch movies like this and do this and this. Don't worry, Krishna has an animal body that'll give you a much better situation than you can fathom in the human body. If this is how you use your human body, the human life should be used for Nishrayasaya, the ultimate perfection, and that's realization and association with God. So, this is what should be understood. That's another verse I could share with you, but we only don't have so much time, unless you really want to hear it. It's also valuable. But, yes.
I have a question. So sometimes it also happens that there are some animals which somehow have attraction towards any, let's say, any katha or any Hari Katha or anything like that, or sometimes it steals them.
Yes.
Like there was a video which became viral where a monkey basically goes to a Ram temple every day in the morning and he does Shashtang Pranam and then he just leaves.
Yes.
So,
how did that happen?
Yeah,
Yes. So you do know the story of Bharat?
How are they different from us? Because if they are also paying their respects and they are also worshipping in their
yes. So you would get an animal birth if you've made some offense. You might have heard of your country's name is?
Yeah, the Maharaj Bharat, when
yes.
he became a deer.
Yes. So Maharaj Bharat, he was highly realized in bhajan, but due to the offense of turning away from his bhajan and becoming very attracted to a deer, he had to take a deer's birth. But because he realized the error of his offense, in his deer body, he would always gravitate to where all the sages were, and he would also hear Harikatha and things. So there can be, even in Vrindavan, there's many animals, but to have a birth in Vrindavan as any species of life is glorious, actually. So these animals are not ordinary animals, but at the same time, you only get in that position if you have the tendency to make some offenses. So this monkey who goes to the Ram temple must have been a Ram Bhakta who made some offenses. And maybe he acted like a monkey, and so Ram said, okay. Monkeys, it's actually said that we should strive to not have monkey renunciation. Like we can be renounced, and monkeys are quite renounced. They live in the forest. We can not wear much clothes, but monkeys don't wear any clothes. But what do monkeys focus on is, if you go to Vrindavan, you see the monkeys and how they act, and they're always engaged in shenanigans, stealing, thieving, public sex life, and all kinds of crazy things you see the monkeys are doing. So if you enter a renounced position, and you then start acting like a sensuous personality, this is said to be like monkey renunciation. So anyway, if you act like that, and maybe Krishna finds it suitable in the form of a bhakta, that you become a monkey and you can realize the good fortune that you had in being his bhakta. So maybe something like this, but yeah, to become an animal it's described in the Bhagavatam through this pastime of Bharat, is done through offenses.
So does that mean that even though they are turned into animals in their next birth, but they still have their consciousness with them?
So yeah, because you have to remember that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that even a little advancement on this path saves one from the greatest type of fear. What is the greatest type of fear? It's going recycled back into the samsara cycle of being an animal again. That's the greatest type of fear, because you have to go through 8,300,000 something odd species. Now, one birth as an animal, and like Bharat had, and you get to rectify your behavior, or maybe this monkey rectifying his behavior at the Ram temple, or even the residents of Vrindavan, the animals there and things like that. It's not so bad, actually. So, as long as you are given the opportunity to rectify your behavior in that birth, so it's not such a big deal, but it's a much better situation than normal, who people just cast as animals again, and then they've got a long time before they get another human birth. For those who did no type of bhajan at all to Krishna, or no type of bhajan at all, but because this monkey must have done some bhajan, Krishna protected him from the greatest type of fear, and he will be able to rectify his offerings as a monkey will not go in vain. So now in the next birth, Krishna will probably reestablish his position after whatever offense is rectified. So like this. So you're all doing work now, but it's possible we can all find ourselves in animalistic propensities later in life, and who knows, maybe we have to go there next time if we, don't get saved from that. Or, maybe better chance, we can just elevate from here. We don't have to get checked so heavily. Yes, that makes sense? Okay. So, you want me to keep reading? Yes. Okay. This life is a chance for the conditioned soul to regain his eternal God consciousness and thus fulfill the mission of life. Nishreyasaya. Maharaj Prahlad is the right type of representative of the Lord in the family of Asuras. None of the living beings is away from the Lord's gigantic body. Each and every one has a particular duty in relation to the Supreme Body. Disruption is in the matter of discharging the specific duty assigned to each and every living being. Good morning. To each and every living being is the cause of disharmony between one living being and another. But when the relation is re-established in relation with the Supreme Lord, there is complete unity between all living beings, even up to the limit of the wild animals in human society. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed this living unity in the jungle of Madhya Pradesh, where even the tigers, elephants, and many other ferocious animals perfectly cooperated in glorifying the Supreme Lord. That is the way to peace and amity all over the world. So, I'll read that again. So I got a little distracted. Disruption in the matter of discharging the specific duty assigned to each and every living being is the cause of disharmony between one living being and another. So it's actually disruption in one's dharma. Dharma creates unity, actually. And if we disturb our dharma, then all of a sudden we have all kinds of problems. Yes. So, but when the relation is reestablished in relation with the Supreme Lord, there is complete unity between all living beings, even up to the limit of the wild animals of human society. This picture you see, this is an example of Prabhupada's talking here. That this is the Jarakhanda forest, and Lord Chaitanya, when he was taking his trip to Vrindavan, he went through the forest with, I think it was Balabhadra Bhattacharya, and Balabhadra Bhattacharya, he should be there somewhere. Oh yeah, he's in the back. He's like, he's all fearful because Lord Chaitanya is associating with all the animals. But
Orange.
what's that?
The one in orange.
Yes, the only other person there. So he's there all fearful, but all of the tigers and the monkeys and the deers and the elephants, they're all dancing in ecstasy. And actually, maybe you see, there's one, the tiger and the deer is kissing each other. Yeah, that's normally never would happen. A tiger would trounce a deer and eat it, But there's so much harmony in this and unity in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being there, the Lord being there, that all animals recognize the higher duty, the highest dharma, and feel complete unity in His presence. So this, we can also see miracles like this in our life, where so many wonderful things, impossible even things, in any other circumstance, but in relationship with the Lord, everything wonderful is happening. I've seen so many times in running this center here how it just astounds me how Krishna can provide so much miraculous, even the fact that you guys have been here for many months, and Krishna was just waiting for the next set of servants to come before he was saying, okay, you guys can go. So he had some plan. It didn't matter when you did your interview or how hard you worked or anything. It was Krishna's arrangement, actually. So even that's just another evidence of a whole list of evidences that I've seen that Krishna has his own plan, and we are, and it's amazing. He works everything out in an amazing way. So when we get really much in alignment with serving Krishna, everything will work quite magically in our life, even like the animals. So here, let's go back maybe. The bird's artistic sense. Manu is the emblem of his standard intelligence. How to, and it's also indicating we should understand the teachings of Manu Samhita. Manu Samhita, it's not for the modern, progressive, those who have, a sense of morals and justice, like the modern movements of the world and, feminism and all these things. But no, but actually it works perfectly. If you study the Manu Samhita, as a man you'll know what to do, as a woman you'll know what to do, and everything could work properly in harmony. But today, now we impose all kinds of new movements that tell people how to act and what to do and all these things. And it's not very intelligent actually. But if we understand that, the Manu, the father of mankind, he understood everything perfectly on how to act, and we study that, we can be in a very good situation. So anyhow, humanity, this is the place, this is the Lord's residence, this is the only place you can meet the Lord and search for the Lord, so please use your life in this way. All of the artistic beings, even in this world, like even my Guru Maharaj's granddaughter, she was born Mayuri, which is I think like a peacock, right? Yes. But she was, now her initiated name is Mayuri Gandharvika, because she's a beautiful singer. She's one of, probably seen her. She's now a pretty famous kirtaniya in the kirtan world, right? But actually all of these Gandharvi, these great musical talents, they actually all represent the musical rhythm of the Lord. Even yesterday, you were listening to something in the kitchen, and it was very nice. It sounded very nice, and I was out there chanting, and I was just having some, some inspiration to, to share, musically, to refine our musical expression of love for the Lord and how attractive that could become. You know, I was thinking of my son, and I was thinking of all my, how all my relatives, they're really interested in my son. They don't care so much about me or my wife because we're old, and in their eyes we were spoiled or ruined already. But they're so like intrigued by my young son. But I was thinking, because I was this Prabhu who must be a devotee child to be singing so nicely for the Lord that you were listening to. And as he was singing so nicely, I then began to visualize Abhiram, and the kirtans that he is going to sing in the future. And how like my relatives will be struck by the devotion and what's coming out of him. And I started to like get very emotional, and I had to like go hide, because sometimes that happens. I'll get some, for whatever reason, I can get emotional when I think of helping, those I care about in this life. Somehow or other, this is about the only time I get emotional. But anyhow, this is actually, these are all representations of the Lord's own musical rhythm, And so, and the demoniac soldiers, the great powers of this world who, are conquering and all these things, this is actually only the Lord's prowess. So we shouldn't get too caught up in, oh, did you see what Pakistan did? Or did you see what Iran did? Or the USA did? And all these things. No, these are all the Lord. You're just really all you're saying. Did you see what the Lord did today? You see what Krishna did through this? That's all it is. That's all. We shouldn't get too caught up in choosing sides. Oh, I want this aspect of the Lord here. No, I like this. You just follow, what the Lord recommends. Become the Lord's bhakta. That's the team you should try to serve on. There's no enemies. Even Krishna was ready to serve both sides on the battle of Kurukshetra. But it was, of course, the bhaktas who only wanted to please him, and that they get to reign victorious. Actually, everybody lost in the battle of Kurukshetra. Only only the bhaktas there. Only they, the pure devotees, they got to survive and actually rule the world. Actually, everyone else lost. Doesn't matter what side you're on, dharma or adharma. You're a loser if you don't become a bhakta. So become a bhakta. Don't become a loser. That's why Raghunath Das Goswami says, na dharmang shakti gana niruktam. Don't worry about the dharma and adharma of this world. Vrajay Radha Krishna prachara paricharya mihatinu. Only in Vraj, where Radha and Krishna, their direct service, you should perform that. And everything else is,
Even the bhaktas lost almost everything. Like we can consider it as like material attachment.
Yes.
But like losing their children and all that beloved.
Yeah, but they were not themselves. Yes, it's
Kind of became like they were ruling, but they kind of became like renunciates.
Yeah. It wasn't really really what they won wasn't ruling the world. What they really won was like Krishna's association. That was really what they won. But yeah, Krishna's not going to arrange everything that we're going to comfortably become great materialists in this world. No, he's going to arrange everything that all the things we gather and lose in this world are going to increase our devotion to him. Because that's the most intelligent. Yes, you have to. No problem, Deepthi. You're doing your dharma. So we'll end here, actually, because we lost Deepthi, so and it's a good time to end here. So, Grantharaj, Srimad Bhagavatam, Ki Jai. So we can do some kirtan, and then we'll carry on with our duties. Thank you who joined online.